turn the call over to this young lady. As a matter of fact, this young lady is extra special, I believe. She is a senior executive marketing director, but not only that, she's a naturopathic physician, and she's really on a mission to help as many people as she can, and so she's all over the place, and I just salute her. And Dr. Reed, I'm going to turn the call over to you. The call is yours. Go right ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Mute the line.
This is actually, arthritis is one of my favorite topics because I remember when I was a little kid, people used to run around and talk about somebody named Uncle Arthur. And I had no idea who Uncle Arthur was because in my family there was nobody named Arthur. As I got older and I became a naturopath and went to medical training, I understood exactly what they were talking about. They were actually talking about the pain that they were experiencing in their joints. And a lot of people also associated with weather changes and old sports injuries. You often have an athlete or an older person who's, please put your phone on mute. You also have people who like to talk about their glory days of how they played sports when they were in high school and how they were able to talk about these wonderful injuries that they got and they're still suffering from it 30 years later. The truth is we understand that there's one basic premise about health. Your body was designed to heal itself, but it can't do that unless you give your body the building blocks of what it needs. Now, we know that we need 90 essential nutrients every day, and that's just on the front end. Your body needs a whole bunch of other stuff too, but that's the basics, the 90 essential nutrients every day. So let's talk about why arthritis occurs. It's very fascinating. Now, our bodies are constantly doing something every single day. Our bodies are, cells are dying, cells are rejuvenating, skin is sloughing off, fingernails are growing, hair is growing. But an interesting thing about your bones, every single day your bone is trying to do two very important things. Your body is trying to chew up old bone to get ready for new bone. And it's a very dynamic process. The process is actually called osteoclast, when your body chews up old bone to get rid of it, and osteoblast, where your body forms new bones. So you're breaking down and building up. The reason why that's so critical is because our bodies are trying to do that every single solitary day, but it can only do it if it has the building blocks of the materials, the raw materials to get it done. And basically that's what arthritis and osteoarthritis is over time. Now, I wanted to bring to your attention some very interesting dynamics because we all know that arthritis is synonymous with pain. And when you talk about pain, you go to your doctor and you might not even have arthritis per se, but he might say to you, oh, you have arthritis, I'm going to give you prednisone or cortisone, or take some Aleve or some Advil. They might get even aggressive with something called methotrexate or gold shots. But let's talk about what those things do. So, for instance, if you're in pain, your doctor's potentially going to give you some steroids, prednisone and cortisone. And what that does is those two things subdue the immune system and creates a higher ability for your body to be susceptible to disease. Then if we already understand that the bone is trying to break down and build up, and it's trying to create the raw materials, and it needs nutrition to do it, now you're giving the body an immune problem on top of that because you're trying to get rid of pain. Your doctor might also, or you might self-medicate with Aleve or Advil. Aleve or Advil over time will cause liver failure. Liver failure, we all know that our liver is the most important organ of the body because it does so much from metabolizing fats and proteins, hormones, and even cholesterol production and filtration, and it's such an important element in the body. So when you're taking something for pain, it's going to cause a liver problem. Your liver problem is going to be exacerbated by the fact that you don't have enough minerals on a daily basis to protect you, so your body is constantly breaking down. Let's talk about methotrexates and gold shots. That's when you're getting pretty aggressive right before you're about to get into a joint replacement. And what that does, that actually subdues the bone marrow for you not to be able to make white blood cells, causes severe problems in the body. And, of course, we know that aspirin and Tylenol creates a gastric bleeding and sometimes leading to death. And Tylenol itself is responsible for 50,000 cases of kidney failure. So when we talk about arthritis, we're really talking about the body's ability the inability of the body to break down and build up, break down and build up. And because your doctor is not giving you the proper information for your body to have the raw materials for that function to take place, they're throwing at you temporary fixes. And it's not even a temporary fix, because the pain of arthritis is not as severe as kidney failure, liver failure, your immune system being subdued. So it becomes really messy. The real idea about arthritis that I think a lot of people need to know is not only are you not able to build up and break down because you don't have the raw materials, but you're also eating foods that creates inflammation. So arthritis really just means inflammation of the joint. When we talk about osteoarthritis, we're talking about that osteoblast, osteoclast experience of building down and breaking up. But it goes together. Your body doesn't do one thing in isolation. Your body is a very complicated, intricate system, and everything works off of everything else. Statistics show that there's about 75 to 80% of baby boomers will get arthritis. And 98% of that is going to be just because of a mineral deficiency. And only 2% of that is based on rheumatoid arthritis. And rheumatoid arthritis is just basically arthritis because of an infection. It's usually a mycotoxin that starts in the lungs that migrates to the joint. But 89% of those people are also going to have some bone-to-bone problems. Your age has nothing to do with whether you're going to get arthritis or not. The determining factor of whether arthritis is going to be your middle name or somebody's going to start talking about arthritis in your life is whether you have the building blocks for your body to build down and break up bone. Build down and break up bone. Osteoblast, osteoclast. Those are your new vocabulary words for today. The reason why this is so important is because it doesn't matter how old you are when you're experiencing this detriment of arthritis. Because as long as you're breathing, your body's going to try to continue to build up and break down. And so starting a 90 for Life program that would include the healthy bone and joint back, and if you have rheumatoid arthritis, we would add killer biotics to it. Your body can repair itself, even a bone-to-bone injury. There's a Harvard study that came out a few years back, and the Harvard study actually came to the conclusion that, number one, a replacement of a joint is not going to fix the problem of an arthritic pain. The reason is because the problem that originated the whole mess has not been fixed. So if you get a joint replacement or a hip replacement, rest assured your body really isn't healed because the mechanism of you not having the raw materials is still at play. And so if you have one replacement, you often hear about a person who would say they need to get the other knee done or they need to get the other hip done. And that's all a mineral deficiency. One of the things that I thought was really, really fascinating is drug therapy. Drug therapy is so interesting. And let me explain to you how Fosamax and Boniva works. I remember a couple of years back, my mom was taking Boniva, and I immediately got her off of it. And one of the things that Boniva and Fosamax does, they're called bisphonates. Their action is to stop the old bone from breaking down, and it causes the old bone to accumulate in the bone matrix. That, in turn, creates brittleness of the bone, and then that's how you have spontaneous fractures. So the Boniva and the Fosamax are not fixing the problem. They're not preventing arthritis and osteoarthritis. They're actually making the problem worse. I remember Sally Fields, one of my most favorite actresses, used to do the Boniva commercial. You notice she doesn't do it anymore because after the news started coming out and the research that the Boniva was causing so many problems, the commercial no longer exists. It's really interesting how in the mainstream media they use that to brainwash us to believing that if a celebrity promotes something that it must be good. The reality is, in order for you to be well and be healthy, you have to be aware of even just the basic function of your own body. What does the bone do? What does the blood do? What does red and white blood cells for? You know, what does my liver do? What does my kidney? We have to learn those basic functions. So when somebody gives you a diagnosis, then you can kind of, with a little bit of common sense, go, oh, I know what that is. We can do that by reading and watching Dr. Wallach's books. We can watch his videos. We can read his books. He has phenomenal books that teaches you how to take care of yourself. This whole health movement is about you being not going to school for 12 years like I did, if I had to do it all over again, I'm not sure if I'd go to school 12, 14 years. I did it in piecemeal, but I learned a lot of knowledge, and that knowledge is critical. But you as a layperson can be just as responsible for your health just by learning some simple stuff. And hopefully today, learning about what arthritis really is can spark some curiosity for you. So if you understand that your bone is always building up and breaking down, in order to do that successfully, you need to be able to take the raw materials for that to happen, then you can not only repair, but allow your body to do what it needs to do. So basically, nutrition is designed to prevent and promote the body's ability to heal itself. I love arthritis because arthritis is so easy, one of the easiest things to get rid of, because osteoblast and osteoclast activity is happening so readily. It's happening all the time. If you have arthritis, I totally recommend that you don't eat gluten foods, wheat, rye, barley, and oats. Those things create inflammation. I always tell my patients that if you ever have an episode of severe pain, think about what you ate the night before. A 24-hour telltale sign will tell you, and it happens to me every single time. I am severely gluten intolerant, and I know that, and I test myself periodically, and I had a piece of cake at an event. The next morning, I woke up, I couldn't move. It was the funniest thing ever. And I said, you know what, I know exactly what that was. That food created inflammation in my body, and that inflammation caused pain. But also with arthritis, you can anticipate that. So definitely stay away from gluten foods. But the biggest contributor to arthritis is carbonated beverages. I don't care if it's Perrier water, soda, diet soda, whatever it is. It's a carbonated beverage. It interferes with the absorption in the minerals of proteins for the building blocks of the bone. So you definitely don't want to have carbonated beverages in your diet. It's a horrible thing. So soda is not just bad for you. I used to hear soda was bad for you because it made your skin pimply, gave you pimples. So if you have pimples, they said, you must be drinking too much soda. Well, if your joints hurt and you have brittle bones and all kinds of crazy stuff is happening, check and see if you're drinking a lot of soda. Not even a lot of soda, any soda. A study conducted of 500 nurses concluded that carbonated beverage drinkers were 500 times more likely to have arthritis and arthritic symptoms than water drinkers. That's a very interesting component to know. So your doctor kind of knows these things, but he's not paid to cure you. He's paid to treat you. Because you know now that your doctor is paid to treat you, he may not have your best interest at hand when he is actually prescribing the things that I've mentioned. So remember that prednisone and cortisone subdues the immune system. Advil and Aleve creates liver failure. Methotrexate and gold shots, even though they might give you a temporary fix, they're going to subdue your bone marrow and reduce your ability to make white blood cells. Joint replacements don't work, and aspirin and Tylenol can cause gastric bleeding, especially aspirin leading to death. And Tylenol is responsible for 50,000 cases of kidney failure in people on dialysis. With that information in mind, it sounds really simple to just do what your body needs. If you give your body 90 essential nutrients every single day, you have to do it like you know you have to breathe and you have to drink. Because the nutrition that would have been in the food to support this is not there, so we have to supplement. So the best way to help your body heal from arthritis and the pain of it, and to prevent it, is to give your body the raw materials so your body can successfully go through osteoclast and osteoblast experiences so you can build up good bones. That also works on bone-to-bone injury. Your body can also rebuild its connective tissue, its bone matrix, no matter how old you are. As long as you're still breathing, your body's still going to function. And that concludes our information about arthritis. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, we can open up the line.
Wow. Oh, Dr. Reed, that was super fantastic. Very, very wealth of information. Just think about it, guys. How many people really want to know this stuff? The things that she just shared, just phenomenal. And you were talking about one of the medications that's used, Beneva for bone and so forth. I know that in And dentistry, if someone has been on that, we cannot place implants because the bone is not healthy enough to receive it. So that's always a key question that we have to ask someone if they've been on a Fosamax type orthopedic medication, because if so, then what happens is the bone is of such a poor quality that you cannot put implants in. That's interesting, isn't it? Anyway, guys.